Hello there, welcome back to the sink. Welcome back to another in our beginning wet shavers series. Today I want to talk about bowl lathering. First thing I want to do is I want to look at different bowls. This is a custom bowl that was made for the North America's Best Wet Shavers group by Maria Arman. It's a hand thrown bowl. It's number 16. It has these ridges here, and people will say that these ridges will help to aerate the lather so that you build lather faster. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But you have a pattern like this, or these are other handmade bowls. I forget the gentleman's name that made them. He was on Etsy at one time, but has since stopped making shaving bowls. But you see, it's got a bit different kind of pattern. That kind of reminds me of peacock feathers. It's supposed to do the same thing. And then he made one of these. These bowls were all gifts from good friends. The one that gave me this one I haven't heard from in a while, and I really need to contact him if he's watching this video. I'm sorry I haven't gotten hold of you. You know how I am. I have a difficulty with remembering to do crap. But anyway, that's not an excuse. It's just, something that I deal with. These are beautiful. I also have this. This is a scuttle, and I'm going to do a video just on a scuttle and how I use one at a later date. But you see it has some sort of ridges here and little bumps in the bottom, kind of a cross between something like that and something like that. Now, I have those bowls because they were given to me, most of them, or in the case of the Maria Arman bowl, I purchased it because she gave us a really good price on it as a group, and I wanted that specific bowl because that's one of my very favorite groups, and I wanted that. This scuttle was a Christmas gift to me. But before that, all I ever used was just something like this. This is just like a soup bowl or something like that. Now, you'll hear all over the internet that you need that to properly bowl lather. That's not true. You'll also hear that this will build lather faster than this. In my not as limited experience as some and less experience than others, I can tell you that I don't perceive any difference between any of these types of bowls with the supposed little designs in it that make ridges and bubbles and whatever that's supposed to make the lather chore go faster, and a smooth bottom bowl like this. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to lather in a bowl, but we're not going to use any of those fancy bowls. We're going to use something I can go in my kitchen and grab with no issues. Now, sometimes when I use my scuttle, I'll put it down on a towel and lay it on the counter. And a lot of times when I use a bigger bowl like this, as opposed to something, maybe that size or maybe this size, okay, I would hold it in my hand. And you can set it on a towel and lather if you'd like, but we're going to hold it in our hands because it's simple and easy to do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get some hot water. And what I normally do on my videos is I will fill this up just before the video starts with some hot water from the tap. I'll fill it up good, and then I'll take my brush. This is a Matthew Martin brush guy with a 3-band silver tip knot. And I'll sit my brush in the bowl and just sit it off to the side while I talk about the soap that I'm going to use, things of that nature. And what that does is, by beginning with my brush, it gets a minute or so to soak in the water. Now it doesn't need much more than that. With a boar brush, I start soaking it before I even turn on the camera. But okay, so now that's well hydrated. We're going to use Mason Boutique's Bobcat. Fantastic soap. This is Brush Guy's wife. I'm going to put a little soap on the puck just like I always do. And I'm going to take my brush. Now this is a 3-band Badger, not a synthetic, which was on the face lather video. Watch. 3 shakes. Back to the puck. I see that foaminess? I don't want that, so I got rid of it. So we're going to go ahead and load the brush and give it a little more water. That stuff smells so good. Okay. Now you see, I'm going to pick up that good stuff again. Remember when I face lathered? I picked as much of the goodness up out of that bowl, out of that container as I could get. Now that the brush is loaded, I'm going to come here to the bowl, pour that water out, and I'm not shaking. If you look in that bowl, you see there's a bit of water, just a tiny little bit of water. I just poured it out and let go of it. That way, I didn't completely empty the bowl. And I'll just start lathering. And now the brushes, I can almost pick that bowl up. Why? Because the soap is not as hydrated as I wanted. It's thick, so I'll take and drop a couple of drops of water in. You can do the brush thing that I started to do there at first, just like we did with face lathering and just like we did with loading. Then I'm going to push it down. And what I'm looking for, I don't know if you can see it, and some soaps won't do this. But if you look at this soap, there's like a sheen on it. That sheen is there because there's a certain amount of water in this soap, and the soap base is one that will do that when you get the right amount, when you start getting a good amount of water in it. But now you look at this. There's plenty of lather there. And I'm just going to beat this until it gets a good consistency where there's not any big bubbles all in it or anything of the sort. Now, that's easy. When I go to my face, I'll do the same thing I did when I face lathered. If it doesn't feel right, if it feels like it needs more water, if it kind of smothers my face, then I'll go to running the brush up under the water and lather my face add it to the lather on my face. Now, you see there's a boatload of lather in that bowl. And it didn't have any ridges, any little knots or anything of the sort, any little divots. It's just a bowl from the cabinet. That I picked out and used to lather with. Now yes, I'm washing soap down the drain. We're teaching here. And it's soap, people. Come on now. Soap is meant to be used. If you don't use it, why in the heck would you have it? So now what I'm going to do, now there might be a bit of advantage here because this soap is more hydrated now. It's had water poured on it and then lather made on it, and it has been sitting there holding water to it, so it may be a little bit of a difference. It might be a bit of an advantage. The brush is well soaked as well, but I'm going to sit this over here. I'm going to show you. Three times. We're going to load the daggum brush and make sure we have a load in it. Remember what I've been teaching. I'm going to grab all the good stuff that I can get out of that container. I'm going to pour this out. Notice I didn't hang it over upside down to try to make sure that it okay. You see how it's thick? If you look at that, that's pretty daggone thick. Okay? I'm going to add a few drops of water. Like I said, you can do it with a brush. You can do it by hand like I just did. Doesn't matter. Now you see that's not building any faster than the other one did. But the thing of it is, see, part of the fun of traditional wet shaving is the tools that you're using. They're old-fashioned, and many of them are, and they're just beautiful, and it is fun to use them now. Pretty much the same results. So you don't have to have a bowl like this. What I would tell you is, as you get into wet shaving, more and more you're going to want nicer things. That's like I could buy a $30 piece of leather and strap on that for the rest of my life and it would work really well, but it sure is nice to have a nice leather strap that has a nice piece of leather on it and a nice cloth component and good hardware and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, but that's bowl lathering. That is pretty much all there is to it. The thing about lathering, whether you're lathering on your face or whether you're lathering in a bowl, it's all about control of the water and adding water to your lather at the right time. Okay? to get the thing to build. Now what I do with my brushes is I rinse them like that, and I clean them off, and I'll take a dry towel and I'll do this number. I'll turn it like that, turn it like that. Alright, then I'll set that up on the counter and let it dry. And I don't have soap built up in here. I don't have soap all over my brush. It looks just like the day that I got it, except that the knot has bloomed. So, alright, that's bowl lather technique. Hope it helps. Bless you. Later.